SoftWrite Inc. has been tasked with developing a new software system for the Columbia Borealis hospital chain. This video will show some of the steps they go through when developing the software. Security is of the utmost importance in many products. Security can be hard to get right, and simple mistakes may result in extremely large problems later on. In this scene, we have a developer who is behind on a project trying to get back on track by shortchanging a required inspection. Pay attention and see what might happen.
Hey Michael, you have a few minutes?
Sure, Yang, what's up?
Well, I have some new SQL code to be inspected. It's pretty straightforward.
Sure, I'll take a look. Just let me pull it up real quick. Looks pretty good so far. I see a lot of comments, and the code structure seems pretty good. Have you checked into the CM system yet?
It's been there since I wrote it a few days ago.
Then I don't see any issues. You look good to go.
Good. Well,
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Hey Yang, how's the afternoon treating you?
Well, rather be outside enjoying this beautiful spring weather. But I make a good headway on the UI project.
Oh, good to hear, good to hear. This morning in the planning meeting, they had some concerns about the UI refresh. It seems the customer wants it deployed as soon as possible because they're still having problem with their applications that's running on Windows XP. Now this is where the marketing comes in, and they promised that they'll get the product by the end of the month.
Isn't that rushing it a bit?
I agree it's rushing it a bit, but marketing also feels that Madison is launching their product and we might lose some market share. But tell me, what's the status of your work?
Well, I finished the last inspection this morning on the SQL code I wrote. And I still have a few CSS change, but I think it should be good to go on my part.
Okay, so it looks like, we're good here. Let me go ahead and update the task saying it's completed. Would that be okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
When we think of security, we often think of large systems getting cracked by expert hackers, and we often focus on encryption and data storage. However, this may be inadequate. Software systems often evolve, and security problems present themselves as new features are added into a given system without adequate architectural analysis. In this scene, a set of engineers will be looking at an architectural design for a given software system. In doing so, they uncover some significant security problems brought on by attempting to integrate new features into a legacy system.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Hi, sir.
Hey.
Alright, thank you for coming. I'm sorry about this being last minute. We just got the room on reserve. Okay, so what we're covering today. I got your email and I read about the serious issues in the hospital catering system, so tell me about it.
Well, I've taken the system we're proposing to build and put it on top of the network topology, but I'm seeing some serious issues.
That's not good. What are the issues?
Well, first, the MedNet and PC Vital systems have some real security issues when we introduce the food preparation system.
Oh, how so?
The PC system and MedNet were developed to be their own segregated network. So for performance reasons, most of the connections to the database server were not encrypted.
So, what's the problem?
The network, as it was designed, was proposed to be all wired, so it was tough to break into.
But all we're doing is adding a simple Android client on a smart device to the network so it can talk to our food ordering system. I can't see how that would add any vulnerabilities to the other systems.
Well, it doesn't make it worse, but it definitely makes the system easier to break into.
So when are we going to plan to upgrade this?
The next release is 6 months away. They're working to go to secure connections on those channels, but they're having real performance issues with the older devices. Michael, didn't you look into security at all when you were designing this system?
Of course we looked into security. Our analysis shows our system's low risk because it doesn't have any HIPAA material stored on it. And we have SSL to protect the system.
But Michael, didn't you take into account the risk of opening up your network to external devices? That's a huge threat. Wireless devices can pose a significant security threat to an existing system if they're not properly segregated. Didn't you look at the development infrastructure before designing the system?
There are no risks to our new code, and we can't worry about threats to the legacy system that's already deployed. We release in 1 month. We can't change now.
It is going to be really tough to work with that. I mean, Michael, have you thought of I don't know, maybe not using the same wireless network for the food systems?
That's not cost effective at all. We won't make our target. The features are all there. We're passing all of our QA tests.
But we can't jeopardize the stability of an existing product. Why are we just now hearing about this instead of when it was proposed?
Because it's not a problem. The functionality's all there. I'm done.
Don't leave.
Wait,
Are you
Michael.
kidding me?
Forget it.
I can't believe he walked out like that. This is really, really bad, and we absolutely need to talk to Anil as soon as possible and find out the real schedule for what we're going to do.
Yeah, this is a real danger. Security is not something that you can just add late in a project. It has to be built in. I'm really concerned that they've just assumed their system is secure because they've thrown some encryption at their software instead of analyzing all of their vulnerabilities.
Right, I completely agree, and I really wish we would have done more upfront risk assessment in the beginning rather than just waiting until the end and just trying to add security to the system wherever we can.
Following this meeting, it is discovered that the true release date is the end of next month, giving slightly more time to work on the project. Security testing is often ongoing. Unlike other forms of testing, many forms of security testing rely upon a fully functioning system that is deployed in the field. In this scene, Dennis has been asked to help diagnose a problem with a deployed system. The customer seems to feel that the problem is a normal performance-related issue. However, Dennis is skeptical. He has worked with the deployed system and hasn't seen this type of problem before. He is concerned that the system may have been attacked. In the scene, you'll be seeing some of the risks of inadequate system maintenance once a software package has been deployed.
So, thanks Dennis for taking a look at this. That issue with our system has been plaguing us for quite some time.
Yeah, no problem. How long has this been going on?
Well, we got our first complaint from the pharmacist about a week ago, and then as time went on, we got some from the nursing and billing departments.
All right, I'm going to remote into your system right now and look around and see if anything's out of the ordinary.
Okay.
I'm going to scan your whole network, especially your servers, see if anything looks like it's out of place. It'll take about half an hour or so.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I gotta deal with an issue with the SSOs preventing our users from logging in, so while I'm off debugging that, you can go ahead. Just give me a call whenever you're done.
Okay, no problem.
Cool. So, Dennis, what you got for me?
Well, a lot of things actually. Have you ever checked the status of your database server and configuration?
At least once a day at home. Nothing ever seemed out of the ordinary to me. Why?
Well, why does the server have an FTP port open? And why is plain old Telnet still running on that machine? I'm also seeing a Samba server there, as well as Gopher, Finger, and IRC.
Well, I'm not sure about some of those things, but I definitely know that we use Telnet so I can log in remotely from home, and that Samba servers are backup for all of our files.
Plain old Telnet instead of SSH?
We were having some issues before where we were getting some security certificate errors with the SSH, so we just flopped back to Telnet.
Well, I'm also seeing that the default password hasn't been changed on that server.
We were worried that our users wouldn't be able to keep up with the password changes every couple of months, so we just kept it at the default.
And the database hasn't been patched in 18 months?
Well, it's a critical system, so we wanted as little downtime as humanly possible, so we just kind of kept it as is. Why? What's the issue?
Well, I'm not sure yet, but it looks like there's a heavy root process that's running and eating up about 75% of your processor. It was started about a week ago by someone logged in as an administrator from a remote site.
Well, that's not good at all.
This scene takes place a few weeks after the previous scene. Dennis has been tasked with joining a team dealing with food service ordering at the last minute. The project has struggled throughout its entire development, having inadequate resources assigned to it as well as not following a disciplined process. Now, as the project is nearing completion, they are desperately trying to fix functionality issues. Dennis has been brought on at the request of the customer to ensure that the system is secure before it is deployed. He is thus doing penetration testing on the system, trying to validate security within the system.
Hey, Dennis.
Oh, hey.
Do you mind if I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, have a seat.
I just wanted to stop in and speak with you because I've been hearing talk around the office, and it sounds like the food ordering system has some serious problems.
Yeah, real problems. I'm doing some penetration testing now, and I'm finding a lot of things.
Oh, I'm a little weak in that area. Would you mind telling me what you're doing or how you're finding it?
Sure. I'm using the OWASP Zap tool. It's a really great tool for penetration testing of web applications. I started by creating my own deployment on a virtual machine using the installation instructions. Then I set up my machine to use Zap as a proxy to talk to the server.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Then I started by mapping the system. I wanted to see the layout of the web application, so I used the spider to crawl to every location in the system.
Oh, I've used one of those before.
Once I had crawled everywhere, I looked for input fields and supplied them with random inputs.
So that's what fuzz testing is, right?
Exactly. Fuzz testing is a testing technique in which we send random valid and invalid data as an input to determine what the system does with the data. It wasn't pretty.
So what did you find?
Well, in several cases, I was able to generate a stack trace as a response, as the Tomcat server had crashed. In other cases, I was able to make the system go unresponsive, where I had to reset the server because it was locked at 100% CPU utilization.
Oh, sounds like a denial of service attack in the making to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So what else have you done?
Well, I ran some tests to detect SQL injection and cross-site scripting. In one of the dialogues, I was able to get back an administrator's password through an SQL injection.
I thought they knew about the prepared statements.
It's the coding standard. It should have been in the code inspection checklist. Then I go to the general automated scan. Similar results.
So that doesn't really sound very good. When do you think they're gonna release?
Next week. They're pulling some serious all-nighters now.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
This scene deals with a code inspection over a seemingly minor SQL code segment. There has just been a massive breach of a system, and Yang is just discovering it. Yang walks into his desk and turns on his computer. He opens his email and sees the top subject is Massive Security Breach Hits Northeastern Hospitals. He slowly peruses the email.
Wow! Whoa! This is huge!
Hey Yang, we need to talk.
Anil, what's the matter?
Well, I was in a conference call for 3 hours with the headquarters and it doesn't look good.
What's not good?
Did you see the headline today? In the
Yes.
hospital IT news?
Not good at all.
Well, the FDA has been doing some investigation into the problem and they found it to be our SQL injection issue that led to the breach of data.
What's that got to do with us?
This hasn't been publicly stated yet, but it seems that all of the locations which were compromised had our new UI installed on them.
That doesn't make any sense. Our UI only displays 72 hours worth of patient data. How on earth did anyone get the Social Security number, banking code from our system?
I don't know, but FDA is sending a team over to review our records of our products. They want to see all the QA records. We're putting them together as we speak, but there are certain issues there.
What issues?
Well, for quite a few of the inspections, it seems if they were completed very rapidly and only with one inspector. Now that is not our process. And I don't want the FDA to find this out. I just hope that the problem is somewhere else in the UI, not the part where we did it.
What do you need from me?
Well, we need to start putting the reports together, you and me. I need the records of your inspections, I need the logs, I need your scheduling information, etc. And we just want to make sure that we want to have everything and nothing missing from the database. This could be a nightmare for us, Giannis.
Not good. Not good for the stock price at all.
No, not at all. It's falling already.
3 months later, the investigation was completed. The root cause for the security breach was the Vitals UI code query. An attacker had discovered a weakness in the system and, by exploiting it, was able to gain access to patient records. The code had been deployed to more than 200 hospitals, and a significant number of them were breached. Based on the breach, the software company ended up filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy due to lawsuits over patient confidentiality.